Alright guys, we are here for a book club video. Don't mind my voice. I have been sick. I've been talking about that in my last few videos. Some of them have been pre-filmed, so you're not hearing it, but some were definitely filmed this week and you can hear it. I am finally getting over the last little hump of that. I'm feeling a lot better. I just took a nice fresh shower, washed my hair in my favorite Halloween pajamas. But anyway, we read a spooky book, which it is spooky season, so it was perfect. I don't know about spooky, but, you know, it has like a murder mystery. It was really, really good. It's called A Good Guide's Girl to Murder by Holly Jackson. And we are going to answer the questions today and basically give a little review. So the Good Girls Guide questions were over on its own video. I listed the questions in the description box and it was pinned in a comment and it was in my community tab. But of course, I'm going to go over them here, so I will read the questions again. But number one is, setting is an important part of any story. Why do you think Holly Jackson chose a small town for the setting of the book? And I think she chose a small town because she wanted it to be well known. She wanted everyone in the town to know who Andie was, who Sal was, who Ravi was, who who Pip was. By having a small town, it's like, you know, news spreads and everybody knew about what was happening in the town, and everyone knew that Pip was doing an investigation, and it really helped kind of move the story along. If you know what I'm talking about, I hope you read the book. Obviously, we are going to be doing some spoilers, so here's there's a spoiler alert for you. Number two, reputation and personal biases play a huge part in the book. How and why would the story be different if Andie and Sal had different reputations? I don't know that Sal's reputation made a difference in this book, because to me he was kind of seen as like the quiet nerdy guy who was trying to get into a good school. You would never suspect him of murder, yet everyone suspected him of murder. So it's like his reputation didn't match the actions. But once he was suspected of murder, that was his reputation, and sadly it went on to Ravi because Ravi was his brother, and it's sad that people couldn't separate them. And then Andie was always seen as the party girl, so that definitely fit her reputation. It was weird that Andie and Sal were even together to me. They didn't seem like two people that would fit together. You would think, I don't know. Honestly, I really struggled with this question when Charmaine gave me these questions for book club, because I don't feel like Sal had a reputation, really. Obviously, afterwards, once he was not convicted of the murder, because he, as you guys know, he dies himself, but people all assume it was him, and he definitely has a reputation after that. But his reputation before that didn't really match up with what happened. So, but the personal biases, definitely, like I said, once he was like considered the murderer, it spread like wildfire. Nobody thought anything different. Nobody gave a chance. I mean, he couldn't explain himself because he killed himself, supposedly, if you read the book. But it's like nobody even thought otherwise. No one ever thought, like, you know, this could be foul play. No one ever thought that it couldn't have been him. To them, it was him, and the case was closed. And I'm glad that Pip decided to reopen this, because it really affected that family. It really affected Ravi. Yeah, that's basically all I can really say for that question. I don't think a lot of people were shocked by Andie's death because of her reputation, but the Sal's reputation really wasn't fitting with me. But personal biases, definitely. Number three, do you consider Pip relatable? Why or why not? How about Ravi? I honestly don't find Pip relatable, but I still really enjoyed the book. Most people aren't going to do what she's doing. They're not going to go against the norm. They're not going to put their lives at risk. Especially when she was getting notes literally saying, like, stop doing this. You've been warned. Most people would have contacted the police. At least my personality, I definitely would have. I would be like, all right, I'm all set. I don't want to die. Andie's already dead. You know, whatever. That's my prerogative. I'm glad she pushed through, and I'm glad that Sal's name was cleared and that Robbie knew that his brother wasn't a murderer and his parents. But definitely, I didn't consider her relatable. You guys let me know down below if you did. Ravi was definitely more relatable. Because, you know, this does happen in real life. So my heart really went out for Ravi, because I'm sure that happens a lot with families where someone is convicted of murder. Whether they did it or not, it's almost like the whole family is condemned because of one person's actions, and that's not fair, you know? One person shouldn't be the representation for a whole family. So I definitely think Ravi was relatable, but I wouldn't say Pip was that relatable. Number 4, did you notice any hidden in plain sight clues? Did any false clues lead you astray? So I suspected Elliot pretty early on. I feel like most people did. Like I said, I read this book a few months ago. I did reread certain parts to do this book club video. But from people that I've talked to that have read the book, a lot of people suspected Elliot. I know Charmaine did too, because she was texting me as she was reading. But then you kind of don't think it's him anymore, because she starts throwing out all these other suspects and all these other clues, and you kind of just put him in the back of your mind. And then it does come out that he was involved. I wrote down here, I suspected Elliot around page 66. So there's definitely some in plain sight clues, but the twist at the end really changes it up for you, because technically Elliot wasn't the murderer of Andie, but he was a murderer. It's great. That ending, my mind was blown. Please tell me how you guys thought of that ending, because I was truly amazed by that ending. You guys know when I read Stalking Jack the Ripper and Hunting Dracula, I suspected the murderers really early on. So because of that, it wasn't really a good book for me. But this book I would rate easy 5 stars, because I did not see that ending coming. Even with me suspecting Elliot, it's still a huge twist at the end. Any false clues that led you astray? For sure. I wrote it down right here. I looked it up on Google, and I found on page 241, that's when you meet Henry Hill. And then you find in her journal, she keeps writing the initials HH. And he is an older man, and you know she's involved with an older man, which ends up being Elliot. But that led me astray. For a while, I was like, oh my God, this guy has something to do with it. I will tell you guys, HH comes up in the other book. Not number 2, but number 3. So that's what I mean. There are clues in this first book that leads to the second book. There are clues in this book that lead to the third book. I know right now it is not, I just posted the community tab a few days ago. It is closing, did I say tomorrow? I'm pretty sure I'm going to close it on Friday. I'll double check the community tab. Definitely go check out my community tab. But we posted the second book, which is A Good Girl's Guide, Bad Blood. Good Girl, Bad Blood. That's what it's called. And it's not winning. So, but I hope me or Charmaine will definitely recommend it in the future. I do hope one of you guys, not one of you guys, I do hope majority of you guys want to read it in the future, because it is so good. The second book and the third book. It is a really good series. But anyway, yeah, so that is definitely the hidden clues and the in plain sight clues that I noticed. And the clues that led me astray. Okay, number 5. There were many potential suspects and motives for murdering Andie. Before you know the truth, who did you think was the culprit and why? So I did suspect Elliot early on. Like I said, it was around page 66 from my notes. I did suspect Henry Hill once they go visit the hotel and they introduce him as a character. There are definitely a lot of suspects. Like I said, she throws a lot at you. There's a lot of twists. You keep going like, oh my God, who is it? Back and forth. That's why I literally said I read this in one day, because I needed to know who it was. But no, I did not know who the culprit was. Like I said, Elliot was involved. He did murder Sal, but he did not murder Andie. They did get into a fight. He did push her. She did hit her head. But that is not what killed her. Who killed her, technically, this ending, is her sister. I never saw that coming. And it's not even that the sister killed her. They got into a fight. She pushed her. She hit her head again. and she ended up choking on her own vomit. So Becca didn't stop her death, but she didn't technically kill her either. It's a very gray area. Tell me what you guys think of that. And I don't want to ruin it. Was it in the second book? Yeah, I won't ruin it. But you find out more about Becca in the second book. I'm telling you guys, if you read this book, whether we pick it for book club or not, please read the second and third. But I would love to talk about it. So yeah, that's I definitely did not think Becca was involved. I did think Elliot was involved. So you guys tell me what you think down below. Number 6, did Holly Jackson do a good job at amping up the suspense? Yes, she did. Did you find yourself anxious to learn what happened? Yes, I did. Like I said, I read this in one night, guys. I started this book. It was a day that Joe wasn't feeling well. It was a Friday night. He went to bed at like 7 p.m. I opened this book at 7 p.m., around that time. I read this until 9 a.m. I read this in 14 hours straight. I needed to know what happened. I was anxious, but in a good way. It was such a good book. Such a good book. She definitely did a good job at amping up the suspense. She made it a page turner. I wanted to know what happened at the end. That is a 5-star book for me. Tell me what you guys thought of it. Number 7, a good ending is essential in any mystery or crime thriller. It should ease up on tension, answer questions, and tidy up loose ends. Does the ending accomplish these goals? Do you like the ending? So you find out it's Becca. She even tries to kill Pip. Crazy. But the end, it is wrapped up. They do I think it's an assembly at the school. And Pip is on stage. And instead of her giving a speech, she calls Ravi to the stage. Because it is Ravi's brother that is at the center of this. And Stanley is even there. The newspaper writer who is so against Sal and wrote many mean things about the family and basically convicted him of a murder that he didn't do and was never able to speak on himself about because he was now gone. So I did really enjoy the ending. It was really good. I loved it all, to be honest with you. And that just leads right into number 8. Overall, what did you think of the book? I thought it was absolutely amazing. I rate it 5 stars. The whole series is really good. Honestly, a lot of times the second book is never as good as the first, but I would say the second book is just as good as the first one. It is very different because it doesn't start with a murder. It starts with a missing person. Really, really good. The third one, probably my least favorite of the 3, but I definitely still liked it. It's definitely more gory and harder to read. For its own reasons that I don't want to ruin for you. But it is a very, very well-written series. Like I said, when there's hints in the first and second book, the first book that leads to the second, the first book that leads to the third, it's just so well-rounded. Holly Jackson is an amazing writer. Let me know what you guys think. But that is the answer to my questions. That is my final review. Go check out my community tab so you guys can help us pick the book for October. Next Thursday will be us announcing which book won. But you can always follow up on my community tab if you guys want to order the book a little sooner, because the tab will be closing. Like I said, I believe Friday. All the info will be on the community tab. We definitely have a lot of like Halloween-y, spooky books in the community tab since it is spooky season. I hope you guys are enjoying book club. Let me know down below. Definitely go check out Charmaine's video. I know I can't wait to watch her video. I'm really curious to see what she thought of this. We did text each other here and there, so I do know she really loved the book, but I'm definitely curious to hear her answers to these questions. I will link her video down below. Let me know if you guys are enjoying book club. And that's basically it for this video, guys. Be safe.